Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific, and they call me Chris of the Northwest. And tonight we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers right here, from right here, and all around the globe. So while you're breathing a sigh of relief that the kids are back in school, we'll be caching in the Northwest. And tonight you may notice a little different format, but you'll catch on what's going on here. And we're not going to tell you just right off the top. You're going to have to listen. Tonight, we're talking about unique and memorable caches. No, we are not. We are talking about unique and memorable events with Gadget Cache designer and builders, Goblindust and Bounce Bounce. Are you looking to host an event that will wow your geocaching friends? Stay tuned to find out more. But until that, we need to bring in our hunting howler monkey. Some say he has broken his third thigh master, and others say when he's not caching, he's part of a Gordon Lightfoot cover band. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
I just finished my latest remake of Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
On 8-track.
Put down. Yep. I mean, everybody's still got an 8-track in their station wagon, right? So
yeah, exactly. The wood-paneled station wagon. That's where you keep the 8-track.
As one. All right. Well, hey, before we start the next Gordon Lightfoot song here, a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. Want to get anything you've seen on geocaching.com? Do you really? Do you? Well, Landsharks is an official geocaching.com reseller, and right now you can still get a free trackable with every $25 spent before tax and shipping. Check it all out at landsharkz.ca. And wait for it. Cachly is the premier geocaching for iOS. Version 8 with Cachly Pro features offline maps of the entire world so that you can navigate while offline, DeLorme and counties, so that you can finish those grids and those challenge caches that have been haunting. And coming soon, CarPlay support. Oh my gosh. Like, what doesn't Cachly? Well, you know what? You can find out by finding Cachly in the iOS App Store or go to cachly.com. And folks, they want to know more about Small. Click that Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
Thank you so much. Hey, the thing you may have noticed already, Wits End isn't with us this evening. So wish him well.
And as we always say, when Wits End is not able to join us for the podcast, please make sure that you send him a message on the socials, particularly X/Twitter. If you're on that platform, he tends to be on there. And just at Wits End, and just send him a little "we missed you." Tell him that we were talking about him.
That's right, behind his back, in front of his face. However it works. Hey, IHAM is impatient. He wants to know what the hashtag is for tonight's show.
Oh, maybe we'll just prolong that a little.
I think we should, because Heather also says, oh, wait, I clicked on Starcacher here. He says, actually, I have an 8-track player and cassette player as part of my stereo system that's 15 feet from me. And now we need to know, do you have active and still working 8-tracks?
Yeah, or reel-to-reel.
Right. Oh, I had a reel-to-reel back in the day, too.
I
Heather
actually
says,
just recycled my reel-to-reel.
Wow, they were really useful when she figured them out. Heather says, my brother has 3 late 70 Lincoln Continentals with 8-track players.
Sweet. Very nice.
GSM times 2 is looking at our show notes. He says events is the hashtag, and he's exactly
so close.
Right.
So close.
Yeah, you know what? He added a letter. I was just going to use event. Hashtag event if you want to throw anything in the chat. And of course, you can use hashtag FATAS to bring up something in the after show.
And Chris, the good news is, honestly, people could probably use any hashtag they want tonight, because we are without our chat lackey, who's usually the enforcer of the hashtag rule. So without him here, it's wild card night.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So you know what? Use whatever hashtag you want. We probably won't see it anyway, but that's okay. Go ahead and toss it out there. We'll do our best.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, before we get to our guests, which we are just itching to do, we got a little bit of news, just a quick little news bite. It looks like Chris has a few news bites there too.
I'm itching.
All right. Hey, update from GCHQ. Apparently they also did it this past week. They say, thanks for your efforts. The geocaching community generated over 15 and million units of fuel. You will
Wow,
see
I
the
didn't know we were
souvenir.
doing the badoo-badoos.
Well, that's how the aliens say the
Oh,
space
gotcha.
people, the outer space folk. You will see the souvenir for this achievement in your souvenir collection on September 9th, auspicious date in my household, after the cosmic quest ends. Very cool. So we all did our part. Good job.
Good job. Apparently a
Awesome.
good thing the aliens decided to stay for another week.
Yeah.
But
What a coincidence.
but I'm also glad they're leaving, right? Uh,
I met one of them. They're kind of creepy.
yeah.
All right.
Well, folks, thank you for sticking with us, but we want to welcome Bounce Bounce and Goblin Dust to the show. Yeah. Guys, already in the chat, you've got fans that Seabeck Tribe can't wait for the Bounce Bounce and Goblin Dust event, but she is also popping in to say howdy from the bar. So
Those two comments may be related.
exactly. She just may be really happy tonight.
Or she's been drinking at the bar and got happy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
So, guys, tell us a little bit about yourselves and maybe your favorite type of geocache to find. I don't care who goes first. Let's pick on Goblin Dust.
Oh, my favorite type to find?
Yeah.
I like brunettes. Oh, no, we're talking about geocaches.
Yeah.
Gadgety ones basically are just creative. Something that's just different. I mean, something, it doesn't have to be too intricate, just out of the, something that really stands out like, oh, I've never seen one of those before. And I've been caching for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of different ones.
There you
But
go.
yeah, so when you see something new, it just stands out and like, wow, that's just really cool. And especially if they put a lot of work and effort into it and thought. So those are pretty much my favorite types.
Fantastic. Bounce, what about you?
Same thing. I like interactive caches, and gadget kind of caches, or creative, something that requires some kind of mechanical device that opens up a logbook, mechanical or electronic. But I've seen some really good creative caches.
That's true.
Yeah, there's some really neat stuff out there, and I think one of the things that I've enjoyed about geocaching is the diversity of those. Like Chad, you were saying, either mechanical or electronic, and I think people just tend to think of the electronic ones because those sort of stand out in the mind a bit more. But there's some creative things I've seen done with just pure, mechanical physics of a little bit of gravity, a little bit of magnetism. Yeah, it's amazing what people can do.
Scott's good with those ones, and I think ultimately my most favorite cache is like a teamwork cache. It requires more than one person.
Yes. And
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
some
that's
good
fun.
ones.
For sure.
Yeah, that one actually, what's that called? Takes three. That
Yes.
that actually is what I like about that. I mean, I like people to get interactive with that people enjoy doing stuff. And I've seen a lot of the comments on that said, hey, there's only two of us. We got somebody off the street, somebody walking by, and actually introduced them to geocaching, and some that they say they knew about it, and some said, oh, I'm going to check this out. So it's really a good PR type thing.
It is, except from that point on, it's all downhill.
which community is that one in again?
Issaquah.
That's in Issaquah. Or
Yeah.
Chris, how do we say that on iOS?
Well, Siri used to pronounce it Issaquah.
Indeed. But yeah, absolutely. If you haven't done that cache yet, definitely Chad, it's called It Takes Three.
Yeah, it takes three. And it definitely takes at least three people, maybe six if you have some shorter people, maybe more if you have really short people. Some people might need to stand on shoulders. Yeah, and the nice thing about that is it's right next to a community walking trail, so there's always people walking back and forth.
There's always new volunteers you can recruit.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and thanks for bringing that up, Scott. I think that's a great example of a really good cache, and maybe we'll do that throughout the night. You guys can share some of the ones that you've got out there that people should put on their hit list if they haven't been there yet. All right, but hey, we are here tonight to talk about some of the unique events that you've both put on, and one that's coming up in the near. Before we get into the event discussion, though, both of you, as we've just been talking about, are well known for your gadget cache hides. And so maybe each of you can tell us a little bit about how you got started putting out gadget cache.
Well, I put the cache in the car and I drove it there and I set it down. And then I
Huh.
left and went and submitted it for review. That's how I got started in geocaching. Yeah, okay.
Ah,
Oh, you
thank
mean,
you.
did you want me to expand further on that or exactly?
No, I think that's good, Scott. Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you. I was thinking maybe a little before you actually, got in the car and set it down. How did you?
Well, then I had to buy stuff off eBay and Amazon. And no, in actuality, though, basically, I think I started back in 2003 or something like that. And there actually was quite a few decent caches back in those days. People really got into putting decent stuff out and creativity wise. It wasn't just a lamp skirt and stuff like that. So I saw a few that were kind of tricky. And I thought, hey, we ought to do more like this. And so I just started thinking off the wall, outside the box. And but I think something has to be different, something they're not expecting. And then I just start sitting down thinking, I'll look around, I'll find something and say, what can I do with this? Like a Goodwill store or something like that, or pick up something. And so I just start playing with it. And sometimes it gets torn apart, thrown away, and sometimes it's added onto, changed. And then once I get it to where I think I like it, I go find a place to put it and stick it out there. Pretty much what I do.
How about you, Chad?
That easy. So same thing. Pretty much. So be driving around looking for a good place to hide a cache. Now, I do a lot of urban cache hides, so I'm looking for something that I have that will blend into the area. Once I have an idea on that, then depending on the property type, you either need to go talk to someone about putting it on the property or giving permission to, and then go home and make it and submit it. I mean, that's it. But it's one of those things that's as you're making it, my original idea probably changes 5 times before it actually goes out. So I test it. I have friends test it, everything like that. But get it out there and publish it and have fun reading the logs.
Yeah.
As Chad is saying, basically, yeah, it's the same thing. You start off with an idea, but it'll change because something won't work like you think, or you think, oh, they'll break that, or so you do end up, I find, same thing, changing the way it works or the method or whatever else comes up. And sometimes the idea does about face totally different, but fits in better. And the most thing I find amazing is something you create, you think, it's kind of lame, they won't really like it, they love, and something you think they really like this. I'm like, oh, I don't really care. Okay, so it's weird what way people look at stuff and judge things, but it's interesting.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Actually,
Yeah.
my basic placeholder cache that I still have out that I was only a placeholder gets more favorites than my $1,000 electronic. It's crazy.
That's true.
Wow.
Oh, that is
Wow.
true. You get that. Yeah, some of the stuff you build for $25, and you're like, wow, they love it.
Yep.
So that's okay. But like I said, it's I enjoy putting them together, and I enjoy people enjoy finding them and doing it, and that's really it's really good when they give you. I get kind of irritated somewhat when somebody does something that's got 500 favorites and they put found it, and like, oh, okay, thank you, and but then you get people that really do really good write-ups and stuff, and they really do appreciate it, and then some people actually even give it favorites, which is really nice because then you can, for 2 reasons. One, you think, okay, they read enough and put enough into it to actually put that little check mark. Plus, it's good for other people to find, hey, this is something to get in the area. It's not a lamp skirt or something. I'll be bored.
Yeah.
It's worth doing. So.
Well, let's get off track for just a moment on purpose, because normally we get off track, completely, without thinking about it, and talk about favorite points. How important are favorite points for a cache builder, a cache designer, a cache owner, really?
I think they're pretty good as far as, they do several things. One, they show future cachers if that's something worth going to, because there's quite a few caches out there now than when I first started. They're just inundated with massive amounts. So if you drive into a new area and you've got a day and there's 10,000 caches there, what are you going to do? So the favorite points actually show people that this just is something different, fun to do. I'm going to go check that out. And also the nice thing about favorite points is the people are showing you they appreciate it. They appreciate the time you put into the effort and stuff like that. So we just do these for fun to put them out. I enjoy putting them together, want people to be happy and stuff. But it's always good, a good ego stroke or just a good pat in the back. So, that's really good. People are loving it. I'm glad. That's all I got to say
Much
about
better question answered than I had. There's a lot more PR. No, but no, absolutely. Favorite points. When you see those come in and you start getting more and more favorite points, people like them and makes you want to build more of the caches. Absolutely. I think they're very important.
So it's a motivator for the creator to a way of letting the cache owner know that they hit the mark there, even if it's just a placeholder, Chad. But it's also, as Scott was saying, it's a way that the community can point towards quality caching experience. So yeah, it's a win-win way for
Yeah,
people.
and it's also very good for if you've got an older cache and it's getting torn up or something, and if it's only got 5 or 10 paper points, say, oh, why go fix it? Why redo it or whatever? But if it's got hundreds, you think, okay, people are gonna like it. People have been doing it for years. I'll keep it going. I'll go out there and
Mhm.
spend another day, 2 or 3 days putting it back together or whatever. But
That,
yeah,
that
it has
sounds like
all
a
around
good.
they're pretty good.
I was gonna say it sounds like a good segue into your question you had there, Chris.
Yes.
And IHAM is also commented on something similar.
Yeah, well, so goblindust, let's start with you. Where do you get some of your materials for this? As IHAM is saying, just curious where one buys an unused porta potty.
Unused?
he-
Am I supposed to get an unused one?
Well,
What a
he
crappy
drove
idea.
just south of SeaTac Airport to Centralia and just missed an FTF on Johnny Island's throne room.
Okay,
So,
yeah, where do you get them? Well, everything comes from different areas. Sometimes I get them from thrift stores and stuff. I find stuff. eBay has a lot of used items. Some things Amazon, and some things you find homeless camps that they've deserted. Good stuff sitting there too. So it just depends. I mean, it's if you just go with an open mind, you're looking for something. And I always keep an open eye. Hey, what can I do with something? I'm always looking around for different things to pick up. Some I end throwing away or giving back but you just keep looking around, and once you find something, oh, maybe I can do something with this, and then go from there.
there you go. Because, well, so in case people don't know, the cache Johnny Island's throne room is in a porta potty, which is utterly amazing in and of itself. We
It's a really
assumed it
crappy
was
cache.
unused, but then again, you never know. And then also you did, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it. It was a Superman cache in a phone booth. Where do you find a phone booth?
Well, you talk to Superman; he knows where they're all at. Of course.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. I mean, there used to be a lot of them out there. There's not anymore. They're more
Right.
rare as far as that. And I've had that one for quite a few years, and they're when you find them, they've been vacated and stuff like that because once the cell phone took over, they pretty much went out of service, and the companies that owned them just deserted them because it cost them more to go pick them up than they could get rid of them because they have no resale value as
Okay.
far as that. So it's there's still a few sitting out there in the wild, but not too often. Most of them have probably ended up in the recycling bins and stuff like that. But one offshoot of that is if people really like those kind of caches in there in Massachusetts, there's one called Phone Booth by DWAP, and it's well worth making the trip to go do.
Interesting.
And it could take a while to find that one if I'm correct. It could take
Hours sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of phone numbers to call.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
It's well worth it though. It's I beta tested it back before it got put in service, but it's worth doing. If you're anywhere near the East Coast there, it's worth a few hour drive to go do it.
Okay. I remember I found another phone booth cache where it was the answer was in the phone book. You just had to find it, and you called the right number, and it told you on a recording what to do. I thought that was
Cool.
clever. Okay, so should we jump over to Bounce? Where do you get your ideas, and where do you get your materials? Because you've got some elaborate gadget caches as well.
A lot of my ideas come from getting up in the morning and driving. I start thinking about stuff. What would be kind of cool, and kind of go from there. Also, looking up just different kind of creative things online, and puzzles is a good way. Is the way I come up with different ideas. But a lot of it is just thinking about stuff, and then stuff that I work with every day. How I think it would work. What would be fun to make that piece of equipment into a fun cache. And then also, so that's the majority of the way I do it. But I also, you have all these gadget friends like goblindust. And I have several of them that, I have no problem going to them and going, hey, I have this great idea for this is what I'm planning on doing. What do you guys think? And then Scott usually says, oh, that's a stupid idea. Go with something else. Do it this way instead. So then I do it his way. No, but anyway, so he'll give you some good ideas and test it. So like it takes 3 cache, right? Originally it was only going to be 3 buttons. And Scott goes, no, you need to make it. So I was like, I don't want to make it too hard for people. No, you need to make it 6 buttons. People are going to love it. It's going to be fun. People have to stretch. So we made it 6, and obviously that made it. And so, just reaching out to your friends and having them test it, and going with some of their ideas.
I concur.
Okay. Oh,
well,
go
I was
ahead.
I was just going to ask. So we're talking about some pretty large caches. Some of these, phone booths, etc. And And Chad, some of your caches I found aren't quite that large, but they can be pretty sizable. How do you guys get permission to place these large, elaborate contraptions on someone's property?
Well, basically, if you just go with a bunch of big, huge guys with you that look really mean and ugly and stuff, and say these are my buddies, and it's okay if we place this right, you don't have a problem.
Okay,
That
but what if
works
Chris
sometimes.
is busy?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
No, in actuality, I go to places, and actually finding locations is the hardest part, because when you put $1,000 into a cache, something you don't want it to sit out in the forest where somebody's gonna break it, or the homeless are gonna beat it up, or just people want to tear it up. So you have to find a place that's going to be secure and watched over. And I usually go and I ask the people to talk to the owner or manager, and a lot of times they aren't there, and they say, "Well, call them here," and I say, "Well, I don't call because I have to show them something." I found working on the phone doesn't work
Yeah.
too well. They can't see they can't read your facial expression. You can't show them paperwork or something. So usually once I get talked to the manager and something like that, or the owner, and then going over them what it's about and how it's to help people have fun, pretty much. And it just brings a lot of people around. And a lot of them enjoy seeing just the people. I've had a few at fire stations. They just love to see the people come by. And so usually when you talk to people like that, you get a pretty good response. And every once in a while, no, but sometimes you do. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do it.
How about you, Chad?
I mean, kind of same way. You find a location. You need to find out who the owner is. Maybe store manager, coffee shop manager, owner. And then sometimes you have to. A lot of these are on private properties because they want you to put it on there. And they have sometimes you have to go to the property management and talk to them. And then I've had a lot of mine come to me actually, or the WSGA or other friend that say, "Hey, I want a geocache on my property." So I've had people come to me asking for one, and that makes it even easier.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm out there showing people caches, if I'm approaching for a cache, they don't know what geocaching is going to look like or what it's going to do. And so one thing I always bring is I have this book here, and it has pictures of other caches that I've done to actually show them an example of different things. So this is like a coffee shop one, and I guess we got to go the right way up. But just to kind of give them examples of different things that I've done and what it may look like. And if I went by the property beforehand, I actually may make up a quick little sample of what I was thinking to what it would be like, and then
Like
just
a
let them know.
scale model kind of idea? Or?
Yeah. So pretty much the cache itself is my idea. It may be smaller if it requires larger pipes, or further away. The pipes have to run further for buttons and stuff, so it'll be smaller. It'll be closer. But I'll make up like a little mock-up of it. That works and show them what it is, and then also let them know that, hey, if you're willing to put it up there, that would be great. We'll give it a week or two, and if you don't like it at any time, let me know, and I will come and take it away, no problem at all. I always try and mount them any way I can without putting any holes in the property or in the building or anything like that. Now typically if we concrete them in on a post, concrete pulls out really easy, and you put dirt back in and there's no sign that it was. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And then, another thing you can tell them is, like the coffee shops I go to, I always get logs that say, "Oh, we bought a coffee while we were." So,
right.
I can't promise you that someone's going to buy something at a coffee shop, but more than likely you're going to get somebody a coffee. So it actually, I know we're not supposed to promote that, but it does help when you're talking to an owner of a property and a building.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
business.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the business model of geotours as well, right? So I mean, I know you say we can't talk about it, but I mean, come on. That's
Exactly.
part of the deal. Komakino asks an interesting question related to that, Chad, and I'm wondering if he's fishing to see if you'll put one at his place. But he says, do you charge for placing the cache on their property if they ask you for it?
No, not at all. I appreciate them allowing me to put the cache out. I enjoy just like most creative people making them. That's the fun part for me. I am really not a geocacher. I like to make them, and that's pretty much it. And I love to go to events. So no, I think just the fun of making it. I'm not going to charge them, have them make it unless they want something in their name or some elaborate thing that's going to be crazy expensive. Then that would be different. But yeah, no.
Wow. So you have these gadget geocaches that you have to blow into, twist dials, push buttons, manipulate objects, and unlock. Guys, I want to know, like, how many active caches do you currently have, and how much time do you spend maintaining these complicated machines? Let's start with goblindust. He's been too quiet lately.
Well,
And,
thanks a
and
lot.
it,
I thought you had me muted. That's what it
nervous.
was. I've been talking all this time. You had me muted.
Oh,
Hey, no, as far as how many I have, I don't know. Maybe about 25 active out there. I'm guessing. I don't really keep track of it.
okay.
And as far as maintaining them, I try to make them as maintain proof as possible. Okay, it's like I don't use Arduino in anything because it sucks so much power, for instance. So I use something that's got a really minute milliamp draw when it's in standby or something like that. So the batteries may last 2, 3, 4 years on something. And so I don't have too many maintenance problems. And put a big logbook to start with, and take them a while to fill it up. And of course, that's pretty easy to pop in and out. And sometimes people even do it for you when it gets filled up. But I don't have too many main maintenance problems on stuff personally.
Bounce. What about you?
Okay. I have 10 caches active, not as many as Scott.
okay.
So, unfortunately, with some of the homeless we've had, I've had to take some down because they disappeared. But as far as maintenance goes, not too much maintenance. I typically will spend a lot of time building them correctly, that they don't have any issues. Build them pretty strong. Trying to think the last time I had an issue with a cache.
Wow. That's impressive right there.
Besides a logbook issue. So usually logbooks are full. And I think there's something a few months ago I had to do a quick, but I don't remember. Oh, it takes 3. Every 2 years or so I change out all the buttons. They start getting.
Oh, really? Okay.
So yeah. But other than that, I typically, knock on wood, now I don't want people to go find my caches now and make sure I have to go do maintenance. So, but yeah, I don't not very often.
Well, that surprises me. I would just think, something like this, you've got to constantly change batteries or be out there because, somebody twisted a knob too hard or something. Who knows?
Well, you try to basically try to build them so they don't do that. I mean, that's one way I think is what can they do to break it? What are they going to do? And after a few years or something, you figure out pretty much what the things they're going to do to damage it as far as that. So
okay.
So you learn as when we first started out, probably Chad the same way. The first few you do or something like it, darn, I didn't realize that would break or that didn't work. But the more you get into it, and then we also, when you build a cache, you might spend $200 and only need $45 worth of stuff. The rest of the stuff is just didn't work, but you find you end up with a lot of backup stuff plus ways to improve it as it goes, and so yeah, you get better at it.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I'm building them, I have a place over here called Shelf of Shame. So it's caches I started making that just isn't there yet or had some issues. So they're sitting up there on the shelf until I can come up with a better way to make them. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
The shelf of shame. I love it. I think I've got a whole workbench of shame right over here.
Yeah. Just Carlos says, but geocaching is free, right? And finding them is.
Yeah. And putting them out could be.
Yeah, the petroleum companies just give us free gas cards and all that. So
yeah.
That's because of the crew he brings to talk to the manager and the owner. He also asks, hey, you give me a little something, I'll make sure everything's safe here.
That's right.
Well, some of them actually, I have one in a coffee shop that's actually a fake camera, and they actually like that because it actually looks like there's security on the property. So they were very excited to have that.
That's awesome.
Nice. Now let's switch over to events. Okay, since that's the other part of what you guys do. Goblindust, you have been part of some of the more memorable events I've been to since I've been geocaching. The first time,
I forget those. Which one was it?
Well, because they were memorable to me, not to you.
Okay.
The first time I was aware you were involved in an event was back when we were able to get on the tall ships. I want to say it was back in 2012.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come together? How did you just happen to get tall ships available to for geocachers to have their own cruise on?
Money.
Oh, okay.
No, basically, I'd been to probably about a half dozen pirate events at parks and stuff, and I just often thought, really, a pirate event's got to be on a pirate ship. Come on, it's just
that's right.
Yeah, and then somebody looked into that and said, yeah, they've got this one, but it's like $500 an hour or something to rent. I said, oh, yeah, that is too much. But I got talking to them and found out what their rates were and stuff, and thought, well, the event's got to be free, but we can still charge to go on the boats if you want to go on the boats.
Right.
So I dealt with the people that have they had the Hawaiian chieftain, which they no longer have, and the Lady Washington, and they were very workable as far as that. So I started doing it, and it actually with them, I had some help on it and stuff, the events and that part, but it actually worked out pretty good. People had a really good time.
I remember it well. I went out there and I had a good time. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
I know we promised to talk about the upcoming event. It's pretty much why this whole podcast has happened, but we're already 35 minutes into it and haven't even talked about it. But I want to take just another moment to help lay some of the groundwork, right? For some of the previous events you two have done together. The one I'm thinking of is Star Wars Day, right? So May the 4th was the last one I was aware of. How many events have you two worked together on?
Is that the only one event-wise?
No, your pirate event, your last pirate event.
Oh yeah, because you had a lot of help on that for you on that. So it's probably 2. And that was in 2018, I think.
Okay.
On that one.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my 3rd pirate event, and so Chad helped on that, and we did a lot of we did 18 labs at that one, I think.
Wow.
Which were all very, very creative gadget type lab caches and stuff like that. So that was our first one.
Yeah, and then we worked with Tri-Cities a few years putting stuff out there.
Yes.
Right, we helped him out. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. Yes. I think that was in my mind as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely have found both of your in various geo tours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah,
So
then
this
when
will
we
be
did
our third one together, technically.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So,
But we just- go ahead.
oh, thanks, Scott. So how many hours do you guys, invest in setting up one of these unique special events?
I would have no idea because I don't keep track of it, but it is quite a bit. I mean, it's not just the day of, which is full 12 hours or something, and 10 hours before or something like that. But it goes into weeks, I would guess. I mean, because you're not just doing it straight through. It's not like a job, 8 hours a day and 5 days a week or something. A little bit here, a little bit there, but it does add up to quite a bit. You just don't think about it until.
You're putting a little bit of time here and there in for weeks, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it because just for this event, we've been spending a lot of time talking on the phone, texting back and forth, emailing. Scott spends a ton of time on. He spends way more than I do. But then you have to think about, okay, then we got to come up with all the ideas for rooms where we're going to put them. How many puzzles we're going to have. We got to make them different than the last event. How much time, so if you're doing an escape room, how much time they're going to be, and then thinking of all the different puzzles for that. There's a lot of time spent. If you're gonna do a coin, you got to design a coin, you got to go through all that stuff. There's a lot of time that's spent. What did we do on the May the 4th? we spent, that was kind of a last minute.
It was, but it would have been about 4 months before we started talking about it.
That was a last minute event.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
The Caching Cant said May the 4th was probably the best non-mega I've ever been to. And I have to agree. It had the quality of a mega event. And to say, that was a last minute event, just that blows my mind.
It
we
basically was, yeah. Thank you, though. Yeah, no, we're glad people liked it and stuff. And it was kind of a mini mega. We had at least 50 people there. one more zero, and it's 500.
Well, we had
math.
we had over 100 people attend, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think there were 98 logs or something. But yeah, as far as
nice.
attended, more than that. But no, we just started talking and said, hey, why don't we just do it? Okay, because Chad said, well, I got the building. I said, okay. So
it's been sitting empty for years. Let's use it for.
I took my wife to that one, and she was just blown away. She's not into much, geocaching events. Yeah, she'll go for a walk in the woods with me, but she was blown away. I was like, wow, this is really good.
I'm glad she liked it.
So
well, that's what it's and thank you for that. That's what's good to hear, that people really enjoyed themselves. And
Mhm.
and we did have several other comments of people, they brought their spouse or something who didn't like geocaching, and
Mhm.
after that they said, wow, that was really something to do, entertaining, and had a good time. So it's
And
Tried to have something for everybody. We had a movie playing in case someone was tired or bored, or they got done early with all the labs or the stops, post passport and stuff. So yeah, making sure that people are always entertained and a lot of stuff going, I think was.
Mhm. I think having the movie going for the kids, and that's what I tend to think is there, for the kids who are like tired, I don't want to walk anymore. Okay, let's go sit and watch, in this case, Star Wars, right? Who doesn't love Star Wars? And they can sit and watch and just have some time away, some quiet time to, rest themselves and Maybe they're ready for round 2. Maybe it's, time to go home, but you have that option rather than pulling a grumpy kid around with you.
Chris,
Yeah.
as I understand it, the Daleks don't like. So you asked the question, who doesn't? I
Oh,
believe it's
that's
the
true.
Daleks.
That's true. Captain Kirk's not a big fan himself either.
Okay, we've kept everybody in suspense long enough. We've dragged this out as long as we can, and we just run out of other things to talk about. So we may as well just talk about the next event that you guys are hosting. So, what's it called? When is it?
I think it's October 26th, isn't it?
Extravaganza. It is. You're going to get me on the date.
October
It is
20
next month on the 26th. So October
Yes,
26th.
October 26th, correct.
And it's going to be from noon to 8.
Ooh,
Wow.
So it's gonna be a long event. So if people can't make it right away, there'll still be stuff to. We'll have a lot of stuff going on. We'll have food like we talked about, I guess we talked more hot dogs. Sky has a better memory than I do on everything we have planned. I have to write everything. But we'll have the prize wheel. We're gonna do a vault hide. So we're gonna hide keys around the area leading up to the event. That will go to a vault for a prize, and we'll give out clues on the Halloween on the Facebook page.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have the puzzle rooms. They will have different interactive things. So basically, it'll be just like the May the 4th one, as far as you'll have a piece of paper with areas you'll have to go to figure out the puzzles to get the words you need or whatever it is you need to fill out your passport, which will be your raffle ticket. And I'm sure
Okay,
that-
so that answers my question. Is this going to be at the same location as the Star Wars event? And are we expecting the same multiple rooms, unique puzzles, a passport to fill out?
Yes,
And
that's
are
correct,
you
yes.
just going to plop a pumpkin on top of Darth Vader and call it a day? Or are we talking entirely new puzzles and I don't know what, challenges?
I think you'll have new ones. I don't think we're reusing anything from the Star Wars one.
Wow.
There may be something there, Darth Vader promoting the next one, which will, because we're doing another
Sure.
May the 4th and 25,
Yeah.
so they may be reminding people that, but most it'll be spooky based or just puzzle wise, something fun to do and things like that. So yeah, I think people will enjoy themselves. If they like the other one, they should have a good time with this one too.
Wow. GSM times 2 wants to know, are you planning on doing a block party in 2025?
I
You
don't-
could
We
take
haven't talked about that.
You could take
Yeah.
the Star Wars event and possibly turn it into a block party if you've earned the.
aren't
The
you supposed to
mega
have something
the
else?
status for it.
I guess it would have to be mega, wouldn't
yeah,
it?
it has to get
Yeah.
to mega status.
Yeah, it has to get to mega
Yeah.
status. It's something we talked about. Scott and I have talked about doing a mega every year, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to do. And so
There's kind of a vacancy in the Northwest now, right?
Yeah.
So-
I already do a mega every year as it is that travel. It's a lot of I spent a lot of time on it. Doing another one here in the Northwest would be tough. I think it's even harder to get people in the Pacific Northwest. It would hurt to go for it next year. See what happens.
Yeah.
there you
Well,
Give it a shot.
maybe we can get all the listeners here to come to this upcoming event, October 26th. And, just to see if you can handle the capacity of a mega. We'll
Yeah,
consider
we
this a
could.
dry run. So guys, you're on the hook. If you want to
Okay.
have another mega event here, you've got to do your part.
you got to show up. Yeah.
Yep.
I,
Well,
I
hey,
think we could do it. I mean, it's that we've got plenty of space at a place like that, and it's not that much more work. It's just more people. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, as far as that. And then the nice thing too, if we can start advertising way in advance for the May the 4th event, if we start to get people that will come in from outside the area, that's what they want to see, is that you're going to have people being overnighters and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we get some good response from people saying, hey, especially if they put it down, if they come to the Halloween event and they say, hey, we want to come to this one that's blah, 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 and we're going to fly in and stuff like that, then we've got a good chance of getting it promoted earlier and getting the amount of people needed to call it mega. So
Yeah.
it's up to the people that play the game to help us out.
Wow.
Very well
Yeah.
said.
Good
Yeah.
point. And
Yeah.
on that note of showing up, we discussed earlier before the show, and I believe the consensus was that you would like people to show up on time. You don't need anybody showing up early to help. That's what I believe I heard. But if people want to help with future events, or I mean, we were just discussing, hey, if you want to help get a mega, just show up for this one and get the momentum going. But if people wanted to help you guys out with future events, how can they get involved?
Well, I'll accept credit cards, checks, IOUs, gold bullion.
Bitcoin.
No.
No.
Yeah, no, they can email us or whatever to the messenger and something like that. And if there's something we need help with, we let them know. And like
Mhm.
Fuller's, how do I say, for Fuller's
We
or
for
whatever.
Fullers.
We for Fuller's did a fantastic job on the stuff he created last time to give away, which is 3D stuff. Fantastic. It's one of the most. That's what people really went for first. And he's going to bring some more stuff for the Halloween event too, which is really good. But anybody that wants to donate anything for prizes, that's appreciated because then that's the less we have to spend on out of pocket to buy stuff.
There you go.
Also,
Yeah.
it means to me more to have somebody donate something than me to go buy something. Not because I care about the money so much, but it just means more that like this is somebody thought about it, they went to the effort to get it or to make it, and it's more because that's what the game's all about. I think is people having fun, socializing. I mean, that's why like Chad says, I enjoy the events the most too because it's the social aspect.
Mhm.
Just talking to people, doing things, and I get some of my ideas at an event. Somebody says, "Hey, did what about this? That's a good idea. I'll see if I can make it work." So, yeah, come on down, folks, and if you want to donate some prizes or something, that's good too. But main thing is show up, sign up now, so we know when people are coming. That helps too. Log it. You're going to be there.
CRS 98 just posted his will attend.
Yeah, I saw
Good
that
deal.
come through.
Appreciate it.
Yes. I would also say if the event is selling like coins,
Well,
if you buy
there you
coins,
go.
that helps.
Cashing Cans wants to know if there's going to be a coin for Halloween.
I am working on it right now.
You are up against the wire, my friend.
You know what? I got my May the 4th ones in 3 weeks.
Whoa.
It was crazy.
That is crazy. You've had your expectations set poorly.
I know. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do. If not, I have extra May the 4th that I'll be selling at this event too. That will be there. So we'll have some kind of coin.
It's awesome. Just Carlo says, sadly, he'll be in Kelowna for work on October 26th. So it looks like Just Carlo has FOMO all over. If folks are familiar with that from last GeoWoods.
Well, can we just have that made like a federal holiday, October 26th, and he can come to it? So no work.
There you go.
I
There you
think
go.
that sounds good to me. And
Now, just Carlo, remember, it's an 8-hour event. You may be able to,
you still may be able to
squeeze something in there.
Even with the drive from Kelowna. Yeah.
I will say one thing I am thinking about doing is a gadget academy. So if there's enough interest, build a gadget together and you can place it out so you'll have a fully working gadget to actually put out in the wild.
Are you talking at the event?
At the event, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
So I do them at a lot of megas, not here in Washington, but other places. And I always have a huge turnout. People love them. But they do cost extra. It'd probably end up being $20 or $25. The parts aren't short, right?
But seems like
I
it's
don't mind
probably
putting
worth
on.
it.
Yeah, they definitely are worth it. So I've never had a complaint. So if there's enough interest, I would say if people would mail in or send a message to us that they'd be interested, then if we get enough interest, I will put one together and announce it.
Well, I mean, it's great if people are listening to the podcast and hear that. Would you make an announcement on the cache page to suggest that that's maybe something?
Yeah, I did a little bit, but yes,
okay.
I need to do it again and be more serious about it. But I did in the original post, hey, if people are interested, but I didn't say, hey, contact us, let us know. So
right. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, hopefully we'll get the word out through the podcast. But yeah, I was just thinking, broaden your audience because I want to see that happen.
Yeah, they're amazing. Some of them, some of the gadgets that we build, you have to, it's people's first time soldering, right? So they have to solder stuff together, and stuff. And then when it turns on, the light LEDs turn on, and it makes noise. Like, it's the most amazing thing. I never would have done this if I wasn't at this.
There you go.
They're good to do.
Nice. Well, you've got the Caching Cans who's interested already, and I would be as well. So there you go. I think you can count on at least two. I bet there's going to be.
I bet.
I just have that feeling.
All you're doing is making just Carlos FOMO worse. But
yes, exactly.
Awesome. Well, was there anything else?
A gadget cache that pops up Carlos' face every time it's open. Look what he missed out on. Look what he missed out on. Look what he missed out on.
Oh, Shay.
That's the reason we're doing another May the 4th. Is so many people missed out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, lots of heads up now. So gents, is there anything else about the upcoming event that you want people to know about? This would be a great opportunity to share that.
It's kids are welcome, of course. If you can bring kids, that's great because we like them to play with stuff too, and they have a lot of fun. And what else? I think one person asked about bringing a dog. said she couldn't come if she couldn't bring her dog because she couldn't find a babysitter. So we said yes on dogs as long as they're, obedient, potty trained, stuff like that. So if somebody has to bring their dog, fine.
My dogs are usually better than my children.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah, as long as they're potty trained and they're not aggressive, they're more than welcome to come. We had some at the May the 4th event.
Are we talking
no big
dogs or
deal.
children again?
Yeah, both.
Both.
Okay.
Both have to be potty trained. No, but and there's plenty of grass outside for either your children or dogs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no judgment on anybody's parenting skills. Yeah.
No, one thing too, I'll say basically, where if you haven't been to this location, is there's a lot of places around to eat. There's McDonald's, but also sit down restaurants and different Asian type and barbecue and just a big selection of food and grocery stores and stuff too. And there's also a lot of lodging around that area too. If anybody wants to come in and say, "Oh, we can't make it during the day, if we spend the night, we can." So I don't think there's any problems there. And it's 8 hours, and some people probably don't want to spend 8 hours, but we were talking to putting a bookmark list together of some of the better caches to do in the area, and so that if somebody says, "Hey, I'm here 3 hours, I've got my passport filled up, and I will come back for the drawing at night, but what do I go do during the day?" Well, there's a lot of good, quality caches out there. And I say if we put a good bookmark one list together of a dozen or so.
I was going to say there's 8 to 10 just on the cache page itself.
Yes.
So yeah, including High 5 over I-5, which is a tough geocache, a tough webcam to get.
Okay.
Komakino wants to know if he can set up a booth at your event to sell a certain geocaching comic book.
Wonder which one that would be.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, if people want to set up a booth for stuff, contact us, let us know what it is, but it's a geocaching comic book. Doesn't bother me. You can set it up.
There you go.
Send me an
Doesn't
email.
hurt to ask, right? There you go.
I mean, we get to see Komakino again.
Yeah.
And you get to see for sure. Okay. That's awesome. So great stuff, you guys. FOMO for everybody who's not going to be able to make it and wants to learn how to solder or just experience an amazing event from this all sounds of things. Fantastic.
It's only a 2.5 hour drive from me, so from Vancouver, right?
All right, I'm gonna have to look it up. I had kind of just ruled it out because of the fact that I'm up here in BC, but I'll have to look into it and see if this is going to be full.
Yeah, but if you came to it, you'd be down here, not BC. So you wouldn't be up there, you'd be down here.
Right.
If you drove to the event, you'd be so much closer to it.
That's right.
Well, apparently there's lodging and food, and I'm assuming lots of parking. So.
There's a hotel in the
lots
same
of free
lot.
parking.
It's all downhill too.
Yeah, 350 stalls of free parking.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
Hey, but thank you guys for having us on and everything. We really appreciate it, and for helping us advertise. And because we want people to have a good time. So the more we get there, I think the better time people have, and also the more we know are coming, the more creative we'll probably get too. Like, ooh, yeah, okay.
There you go. Well, I wanted to highlight you two. I mean, the events, the May the 4th event was incredible. And I thought, if you're doing another one, you guys deserve a little credit for the time that you've put in to say, hey, thank you. This is a lot of fun. I know it's a lot of work, and we appreciate it. So hopefully the community will, show up and give you guys just a little bit of appreciation.
Thank you very much.
We're doing our best to remove all the excuses. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Sorry, Chad. What was that you were saying?
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, thanks for having us on and help promote it. I mean, it's something that we really like to do. And May the 4th was one of those things like, hey, let's just do this. And now it's kind of like, oh, this more often. Maybe we do a mega. So absolutely. It's amazing, and we appreciate your guys' support.
We're already seeing people making plans in the chat here. We've got Gearhead, who's another great gadget cache maker up here in BC. He said you had him at free parking, and then he's offering Keats a ride down with him. So the plans are afoot already.
I will say, if you are a cache maker, we can have a room for you to just display your caches and show them off.
That'd be a good idea.
There you go, Gearhead. That's fantastic, guys.
Love it. Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much. And folks, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
And we want to take a moment to thank Landsharks and Cachely, our corporate Denali sponsors. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure geocaching store. Check them out online, and they're shipping those online orders daily. And remember that Cachely is the geocaching app for iOS. We want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters, of course, Land Sharks and Cashly, but also Cool Cow Cachers and Hawaiian Melee. If you want to know more about supporting this year's show, click the Patreon link in the cachingnw.com website.
Ooh, you sound a little winded there.
I was a little
I'm
winded.
going to let you go through the entire sponsors in one breath.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah. No. Hey, but let's say thanks to the patrons, and we'll start with You Talks to Rocks.
And follow up with Ackerdoc,
Boomer 365,
Peach of Washington,
Whidbey Island Gal,
CRS 98,
Railroad,
J-Car,
Trexer,
Butterfly Girl,
GeoNav Pro,
Antaeus,
Genies,
MC3 Cat.
Seabeck Tribe, still at a bar, I bet.
Oh, getting nicely pickled. Subway Merc,
Just Carlo,
Dora Moore,
Skyhawker,
Team Noltex,
Flagman,
Camp Clan,
You, Dak,
GeoBirder,
Limax,
Geocaches,
Terrible Teas,
GSM times 2,
Sege Hove,
the LG 9000,
Greenwords,
BC Rock Crawler,
Nervous Energies.
M Nerve. Oh, that's kind of neat how those
Oh.
two went
Yeah, it's random, I tell you, but
Yeah.
when these things happen, sometimes you just find your way.
together. I see what you did there. Logwork,
Mountain Bike,
B Pendragon,
Kid Vegas 19, Gas Station Tuna.
and last but not least for all you spilly drinkers, Wet Coaster.
And once again, guys, if our listeners want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to do it?
I would say the geocaching messenger.
Works for me
Yeah.
On your Cashly app.
Yeah,
on the cache app.
whichever one the geocaching page would.
And Chad, if you need to leave, please go ahead. Take time off if you need to go. We're just going to finish up the episode and go into the after show. If you need to get some extra sleep,
Oh,
I'm happy with that.
okay.
But folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. If you didn't like the show, and I don't know how you could this show, tell us what you want us to talk about. But if you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. And of course, you can always call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or meet us at this event any time of the day or night, since it's 8 hours long. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2024 by Chris Umfenauer. Folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show. There's
It's Like He's Here. There you go. The after show. Now, I know we had a couple of things.
We started a few comments. We did our best without a chat lackey here, folks. So if we missed your comment, we're going to apologize in advance.
GSM
And,
times 2 says bouncy bounce bounce. I'm looking forward to hearing good ideas for my community celebration event.
We didn't go over too many ideas on caches.
No.
But I have a lot of new ones actually. I'm making up for this event.
I'll be right back. I have to feed the raccoon.
Okay.
IHAM went to the bounce bounce goblindust.
Oh, is that
Okay.
what BBGD stands for?
Yeah. You thought he was saying something else, didn't you?
Yeah.
For Star Wars Day, and it was awesome. All capitals.
Fantastic.
Appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Seabeck Tribe. Can't wait for the event. Trexer wants to know. We'll have to come back to this one
Yeah,
because
we'll come back to those ones that are for Scott when he's back.
Starcasher says, talking about the what did you call the shelf you had up there? The
Shelf of shame.
shelf of shame. That's it. Looks like I should dust and straighten that shelf.
I wasn't sure if he was talking about this part of his current 8-track collection.
Oh,
Few VHS tapes, cassettes, CDs. He hasn't played them in 10 plus years.
but he's got a link. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Do we click on random links? Sure. Work says that's totally cool. You should
Okay.
always click on random links.
Yeah,
That's a bad
especially
event.
one like that you know you have no idea where it's going.
Yeah. Especially if it's just letters and numbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
What could go wrong? I mean, somebody took a lot of time to put all those letters and numbers
Right?
together. You know how hard it is to copy that? Keith says he's currently editing a video featuring his girlfriend tolerating his geocaching / vlogging addiction. Or is that vlogging?
It's vlogging. It's when you cut down trees, but only ones that are V-shaped.
Oh, okay. I visited her hometown of 100 Mile House, BC.
That's correct.
That's an odd name for a town because it sounds like it would just be a single dwelling about,
There's-
100 miles away.
There's also 70 Mile House. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we got all the miles up here, bro.
In a land of kilometers, you have
Yep.
100
Yeah.
Mile House.
Just thinking
Okay.
the same thing.
Just to keep you on your toes when you come visit.
And let's see, you measure your food in kilograms, but your body in pounds.
Correct. Because once it's processed,
Oh,
the units.
oh
change.
that's the barrier.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anyway, what was it? I think we reached a muggle to geocacher equilibrium. he says.
Yeah. Sorry, I clicked that one away before you.
That's
finished.
okay. Well, I got going on the, contradictions in the Canadian culture.
Yeah.
There
There are
aren't any in the US culture, so I've got to
Oh,
find
yeah.
something. Yeah.
None
Mhm.
at all. Do we have Scott back?
I'm here. Yeah. I'm just
Uh, So we got a couple questions for you, Scott. So first of all, Komakino wants to know why there's a giant pepper shaker in your walkway.
pepper shaker. Oh, that's a Dalek. He's trying to get through the force field.
And Trexer thought he saw a meteor crashing, a meteor or a crashing UFO behind the Dalek. Was that what you were just checking on?
Yeah, it was probably a UFO.
Okay.
I couldn't identify it.
Oh, there you go. That's what makes a UFO a UFO. The first part of it is unidentified.
That's true. That's true.
I thought it was UAP.
What's the first word of that one?
You.
Unidentified. As soon as you identify it, well,
That's
then
true.
it just becomes a FO.
True. What if
There
you're
you go.
blind? Everything's identified.
Oh, one more comment here. I just happened to catch this one here.
Oh,
Heather's saying her husband got a new job in Seattle, so it's very likely she'll be able to attend the event.
yay.
There you go. That's one more.
That's great. We had people coming down from Bellingham to the event, so there's no excuse you can't come from Vancouver.
Canada. Yep.
All depends on what Laura already has planned for.
They've got the Nexus card. It's a 5-minute wait to go through the Nexus line. There's
I
really
gotta say, the Nexus card is the best investment. I shouldn't advertise the Nexus card because the more people that get it, the more people are going to be in that line. But man, that is the best investment I have ever made for travel.
there you go. Now, does it help you at airports as well? You get
Yes.
to go through the preferred
Yes.
line. Yeah.
They say, "Oh, Mr. Kennedy, of course.
Yeah,
Please come
Well,
over
you
here."
have your own line at the airport.
Yes. The monkey line. Yes.
Mhm.
With free bananas.
No, that's at the Amazon store or the Amazon headquarters. They have a banana cart.
Well, that's how I can get a hold of Komakino as well.
Okay. Too much. Folks, thanks for joining us. Until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.